First of all, thank you very much for joining. Thanks for taking the time. My name is Chet Smokovic. I'm one of the co-founders of Runecast Solutions. And we've been on the market for about 3 years. And the way I'd like to kind of deliver this presentation is we're going to just briefly touch some of the high-level slides. I don't want to keep too much time on the slides. And then we're going to jump straight into the technical demo so you can get a feel of what we can offer. Before that, I would just like to ask you guys if you know what runes are, rune casting. Are you familiar with the terms, with the concept? No? Okay, cool. So runes are kind of a Nordic alphabet, and rune casting is kind of a magical, sessions where they kind of use to read future based on certain symbols, right? So it's pretty much a magical, mystical sphere. So we thought it would be cool to take the name because pretty much what we do is similar to what they did before. Obviously, we do it in a much more sophisticated way, and we're always right, whereas the the ancients might not have been. So the way we do it, the product is called Runecast Analyzer. This is our flagship. This is our first product that we released. It's targeting VMware vSphere. So what does it do? So it's proactively preventing problems from happening on your environment. So instead of you waiting for issue to happen and then troubleshooting it and then running around searching for logs, we are doing that proactively for you. So I just want to actually see, what do you raise of hands? Who has some monitoring solutions on your environment? Cool. So majority of you. Cool. So what do you do when you see some issue? What's the first step you usually do?
Support.
Okay, what does support do first thing they see there?
Yeah, look up, see if there's any known issues.
Okay, cool, known issues. So where can they find those? Okay, knowledge base, yeah.
Google knowledge base.
Cool. Here you go. I'm gonna throw this Lego figure at you. Yeah, you wanna catch it? Thanks for participating. Okay, so knowledge base articles. What does that mean? It means that those issues are known issues, right? So someone else had them before. So what does that mean? It means that they can be prevented. You don't need to experience them at all. If you only had time to go through all the KB articles that have ever been written and apply them to your environment, you would have 90% of the issues would be avoided. And there's the number that I wanted to show you. So in our 3-year presence in the market and more than a decade, involvement with VMware, we found out that about 90% of the issues happening every day to you and to me on our environments are known issues. And I'm including in those performance and capacity, because some of the best practices tell you, hey, these are some of the capacity and performance constraints or recommendations that you should take care of. And of course, we do that in the beginning, but then of course it doesn't, as changes happen, that kind of falls through cracks. So if I told you, you can prevent 90% of the issues on your vSphere, would you take it? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I mean, you see where I'm going with this. What about security, for example? How do you do security? Are you familiar with the VMware security hardening guidelines? Show of hands. Not really. Okay. So obviously that's, is it because your organizations don't require you to do that, or is it too complex, or different team?
Not required.
Not required, okay, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, fair enough. So I just want to share again the number that's from our experience. The compliance level of an average environment that we've scanned is about 45%. So 45% is compliant, then 55% of the environment is uncompliant. So prone to attacks, prone to security breaches, etc. So obviously, I don't need to tell you some of the well-known companies that have been hacked. We don't know obviously the details, but the environment is as secure as the least secure component of the environment. So what about best practices? Are you guys following any best practices, VMware best practices? Yeah. Cool. Do you do that? Trying, yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but our experience is that you deploy your environment, you implement it, and you obviously try to adopt as many best practices as possible. As time goes by, changes happen, things happen, and 6 months down the line, it doesn't look anything like it did 6 months ago. So what we do, and again, same thing, we see that the compliance rate is even lower for best practices, right? So about 37%, adoption in a given scenario. And as goes with security, it's needless, right? We have the it's a known issue. It's a best recommendation. So there's no need for us not to be as prepared as compliant as we can be, right? VMware, hypervisor layer is one of the most important, obviously, components of your environment. So we should definitely keep it as up to speed as possible. So how compliant do you think your environment is? Anyone have a guess? Is it in good shape or a bad shape?
I think it's in good shape.
Good shape? Okay. Is it a guess, or do you have some ways of? It's a guess. Okay. Here's the Lego for being honest. Yeah. Cheers. So yeah, if I asked you to, if again, we have customers as from C-level coming to us, hey, we had some issues last year. I just want to have some health checks, some way of knowing that what my guys are doing is correct. And then again, guys, IT admins, I used to be one for 5 years. We don't have any ways of automating all this and saying, okay, here's the report, here's the snapshot of the environment, everything's fine. Because we just don't, right? We have so many other things to do. Projects, what have you. So you realize what I'm going with this, right? It's Runecast Analyzer. This can help you a great deal. So let's focus on what is Runecast Analyzer. First and foremost, it's a virtual appliance. So it pretty much deploys on your environment, in your environment. It runs on premise. It's secure. It doesn't need any internet connectivity whatsoever to function. Now it's loaded with KB articles, so VMware KB articles, best practices, and security hardening guidelines. All of them in the appliance. Again, locally, it doesn't need internet connectivity whatsoever. It connects to vCenter using VMUG interface, and it pulls from the vCenter database. It pulls all it needs to compare it against the local sources of truth, we call them, right? KB articles, best practices, security guidelines. We compare all that. And within minutes from the deployment, you have a simple, beautiful dashboard like this. So what this tells you, at the first glance, we're just going to cover some of this now, and then of course I'll cover more with them. At first glance, number of critical issues. This kind of dashboard is painted here is the number of issues found. Again, issues that will happen in the future, right? So it's not hey, you have 5 critical issues right now. No, they can happen tomorrow, next week, or next month. But because it's a known issue, and you're running the same configuration as many people that ran into this issue, you will run into this issue as well. So 5 critical. Again, click on that will reveal all 5. I'll show you that later. The second pane, again, a snapshot of your environment. The red is obviously configuration items with issues. Green ones are without issues. So you can take have a glance of how your environment is running. And then finally, just a list of top contributors when it comes to issues. So the top one will be the server or host or VM with the most issues. So you can focus on that and pretty much start from the biggest contributor. And then the thing I was talking about security compliance. So this particular environment is a test environment. 14% security compliance and 34% best practice adoption. Can everyone see this? Is it too blurry? Okay, cool. So I'll cover the rest later, but this is pretty much what you can see as literally 10 minutes into the from downloading the OVA and deploying it. Now going back to the diagram. So that's the main feature, right? Proactively finding issues and preventing them. The second feature that many of our customers love is log analysis. Now I should say that there are a lot of log monitoring solutions out there. And some of them do analysis as well. But where we differ is instead of you, for example, I'll not name any solutions, but instead of filtering millions of logs and showing you the 20 that you kind of want to see, you still need to You still need to go online, see what those 20 are all about, right? Yeah. And so this is the approach so far on the market. What we do is we scan your logs in real time. So we analyze them. Because we have the known issues in our database, and let's say a known issue says that the first thing that you will see once you hit this issue are these 5 log entries. As soon as we see the 5th one, we automatically say, okay, this is the issue. We pop up the screen, something like this, and say, okay, this is the KB article, this is the extract of the title, this is the problem, virtual machine, multiple user logins fail. And why is this issue? Because we saw these 4 log entries, 5, in your logs. So again, no second guessing, no need for you to go out there and troubleshoot and lose time. It's all pretty much in front of you with the resolution of its codes, resolution, you need to download some patches, etc., etc. Again, 100%, unlike rooms and all that, 100%, specific to your environment and correct.
Is that the VM's log or is that the ESX log?
This is the VM log. That's well spotted. Is the Lego?
No.
Thank you. So yeah, this particular case is a VM log. So we can monitor both ESX side hosts, syslogs, and VM logs as well. And I'll show you that later in the user interface. Everything is done through our user interface. You pretty much click on the hosts and the VMs you want to monitor, click on execute, and we add ourselves as a log forwarder. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay, let's start again. So yeah, we add ourselves as a log forwarder. So pretty much you need to, everything is manual, everything is automated for you. Okay, so that's log analysis. Going back to the diagram once again. So you might ask, how do you keep current, right? If everything is offline, how do you keep current? New KB gets released, new security, gets released, etc. It's a good question, and we do that through obvious continuous updates. Now this is where the connection comes in, but only as a download, and only if you want it to. So one option is, of course, for you to connect the appliance to our repository, and obviously, download as the updates become available. Usually, it's about on a bi-weekly basis. For many, again, Runecast Analyzer has been engineered to be very secure. So this is optional. The other option to keep your environment, to keep your Runecast Analyzer database update is offline mode, right? So you go to our website, download the ISO file, you copy it internally to your environment and apply it on your app environment, right? And many of our customers, obviously financial institutions, military governments, obviously that's the first thing they ask. I mean, even today I was asked by maybe some of you, I forgot the name, sorry. But first thing, okay, do you need to have any connectivity with your service? And of course the answer is no. So once updated, everything is running on-prem, no internet required whatsoever.
You said it's an ISO file, what is it, mounted on the appliance or?
Yes. Mounted on the appliance, and pretty much it needs a restart of the Runecast appliance, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the slides. Are there any questions I can answer on a high level? Cool, it's all clear. Let me jump into the demo to see if it works. I had big trouble today with internet. By the way, live demo is available on our website. So if you don't want to deploy it for whatever reason, you just check all this out on our website. There's a live demo button, so you can play around and see what it looks like. This is just a pop-up saying this is a demo environment. This consists about 60 hosts and about 500 something VMs, so it's kind of an average size environment. Now, one thing I should mention is that as soon as we start, is that we can connect multiple vCenters. So if you have multiple vCenters in your environment, you only need one Runecast Analyzer appliance, connect to all of it, and you will see this drop-down menu with each specific vCenter. Obviously, the default view is cover everything. Can I just show of hands how many you have running multiple vCenters? Okay, so fair amount. Cool. So yeah, default view is include everything, and let's go back to the dashboard as I showed before. So what I didn't show you is the number of KB articles found in logs. Now, unlike these logs, so these are potential. These are happening tomorrow, next week, next month. These, on the other hand, if it's anything greater than 0, this is the issue that you're having right now. So, you need to focus. I mean, the first thing when you scan your environment, especially if you have log forwarding enabled, if this is greater than 0, obviously you need to focus on that straight away. So let me show you a bit about configuration first, just so I can give you an idea of how to configure it. So once you deploy a appliance in the admin interface, you configure the IP, and you come here to configure to connect it to the vCenters. So obviously you're adding vCenters to however many you have, and providing credentials. Now the good thing is that there is Active Directory integration, so you can just pull out some groups from Active Directory and apply it here as well. Now by default, it will not scan anything, right? So when you deploy it, it's just going to sit there until you do something. The first option is, of course, to click on the Analyze Now button up there, which will trigger the initial analysis, connect to your vCenter using VMUG and scan the database. So that's the first way. The second way is if you want to automate the scheduling. So you would go obviously to configure the automate scheduling, and you can set it up, automated scanning hourly, weekly, daily, pretty much whatever works for you. Some of our customers have change free, so obviously they just scan the whole thing after the change, after the change period, etc. Alerting. So this is just the basic email alerting. So SNMP. The SNTP. The other way is that we recently released a REST APIs. So whoever wants to connect to us and get all the information they want, they're able to do so. So if you have some third-party tools or something that you want to pull the information from us, by all means you can have that. Log analysis. So this is just a quick overview. First of all, this is the retention. So you can specify how many days you want to keep the logs that we're monitoring, and how much data how much disk space do you want to allocate to them. And then in the bottom part is the thing I was telling you about, configuring hosts and VMs to monitor the logs, right? So all we need to do is click on this wrench icon. Let's do that now. And say, okay, I want to take all these, on this vCenter, all these hosts, and click on configure. That will run a script in the background, and it will add another, it will add us as an additional syslog forward. So if you have already one, like login or anything like that, it will not replace it. It will just add us as an additional one. So that's, and the same thing applies for VM logs as well. Then we have security compliance. So recently, I mentioned VMware security hardening guidelines. Again, the same person that asked me about from government, from military, asked me about the internet connectivity, asked me about the stick compliance, right? So based on that, we released the stick compliance. So again, another set of policies, in this case for the high secure government and military institutions. So if you want to see how your environment would fare against such strict regulations, you can do that in the same skin as well. You just stick the whichever one you want, and you're up and running. We're also releasing now. Is anyone interested in HIPAA? Is anyone from healthcare industry? Good. So perfect. So here's some. I'm going to throw it all there. Oh, sorry about that. And one more thing. So HIPAA, what about PCI DSS compliance? Is anyone from perfect? Would you like the Lego?
I got it.
Ah, right, thank you. Okay, so we are introducing more and more compliance as our customers ask for it. So that's the security compliance. User profile, as I mentioned, Active Directory integration, so nothing too specific about that. And I'll show you filters later on in the demo. So back to dashboard. Once you configure everything to your liking, you're back here. You click on Analyze Now, and this is pretty much what you would see in your environment. Obviously, numbers might vary.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I missed the introduction piece here, but
sure.
The
the items indicated in the top left square versus the green square just below it, what was the difference?
Yes.
between those?
Okay, so the top left indicates the problems that will occur in the future, so you can prevent them, right?
Okay.
Again, just to fill in, the way we do that is compare the KB articles, known issues, against your environment. And we tell you, hey, people with same environment, with same configuration ran into those issues, so you will too. So this is something to obviously plan which appropriate changes to make those changes on your environment. Whereas the log analysis, so once we start receiving the logs, once you configure the logs, as soon as we see the fifth, as I mentioned in the example, fifth log, we tell you, hey, this is the issue that's happening right now. Yeah, so that's the main difference. So let's say I want to see what are those 15 critical issues and how can I prevent them. So when you do that, you would pretty much see a list of those 15, of course. Again, just brief description. So source is either KB, BP, or SH, security hardening. So it's either a critical issue when it comes to configuration, best practice, non-adoption, or security hardening, out of compliance. I will not go through all these. I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Applies to compute, for example, or affects availability, security, and of course, that's the rating, right? The critical rating for them. Objects, how many objects are affected? So in our case, I don't know, 5, 8 hosts or VMs are prone to this issue. And let's open a random one. Let's say a second one, for example. So this one says ESXi 6 update 2 fails with a purple screen of death. And then, so once you open it up, again, this is all offline, right, on your environment, you get an extract from the KB article. So it's like you're looking at the KB article itself, which means that you have symptoms, resolution, causes, pretty much like you're looking at the KB article, with the added bonus now that when you click on findings, you would see the list of configuration items, in this case, I think hosts and VMs, that this issue applies to, right? So if you have 50 servers, only those two are affected by this issue. And on the right side, it tells you why. So in this case, for example, for you to manually find out this issue, that this issue exists on your environment, you will need to check the host build number, host version, this parameter, VM hardware version, network adapter type, on all these servers, right? So just this example would save you, hours of manually checking, the servers for that. And of course, this is the reason why we recommended this issue as a known issue for you. Any questions for this, for the configuration part?
Is that an ignore button to the right?
Oh yes, good point.
Yeah.
Well spotted. You're gonna take all my Legos.
Ignore it?
Sorry?
Is that you can ignore the alert or?
No. Yes, you can ignore. So it's not so applicable for the KB articles. It might be for you say, okay, I don't want to. I mean, this configuration, the way it is, needs to stay for whatever reason. So I'm going to ignore it. I don't want this to be shown, to my management or whatever. So you can ignore it. And then back in the configuration page, you can pretty much customize, does it apply to this vCenter only, to this cluster? I mean, pretty much you can granularly apply to which substructure this ignore applies to. It's usually used for security hardening guidelines, right? So we have a customer that uses Runecast as a compliance tool, right? So if auditors come, they just open up Runecast Analyzer, and then they can say, okay, we ignored these ones, and they have a little comment, say, okay, this is why we ignored them because of some legacy application or something like that. So this is the main reason for the ignore button. But yeah, we'll split it.
And is that comment required?
No, it's purely
Is
optional.
it required?
I guess so. I mean, we could have a tick box. Yeah. I mean, is that
There's a
something?
config option where.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they're all blank by default, right? So it would. I probably have to see your use case to see how can we. Yeah.
Well, I just want to know if one of my engineers is ignoring something
Right.
in a subsequent review. Why did you ignore that? What policy do we have in place that made you think that didn't apply to us?
Yeah. That's a good case. Yeah, I'll take that to the development. Okay.
Once you ignore it, is it that ignored forever or just for that instance?
Just for this instance. So
So if it happens again in 3 months or something or whatever.
Yes, especially if it, yeah. Especially if it comes up, I mean, if it's for different hosts or something like that, it will pop up again.
So that is specific to the host, each of the different alerts.
No. So you can, once you click on ignore, let me show you. Once you click ignore, you will be able to. So for this one, there are 5 objects affected by this. So if I click ignore, I'll be able to pretty much fine tune ignore to what. Does it ignore to this server, these 3, or so you can tick whatever you wish, right? If you don't want it to be ignored for some production and you want it to be ignored for development, it's all here. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so that's the configuration part, right? The second component, as I mentioned, is security hardening. So on the left side, if you open, again, we'll stick to VMware security hardening guidelines because stick is kind of specific to the military. So when you click on the VMware security hardening guidelines, what you will see is a list of policies that VMware says that you should configure, right? So again, by the show of hands, I guess not many of you are into not that high of security. But again, if you're interested in Runecast Analyzer and you should deploy it, it might pay to check, how secure you are and whether you can prevent some, attacks or security breaches, etc. So again, if you're not familiar with the security hardening guidelines from VMware, it's pretty much specific to vSphere version. So 5 that have their own, 6 have their own. And it's pretty much an Excel spreadsheet with a list of about 100 security policies. Pretty much says, don't configure an NTP or don't configure, some SSH. All these are security policies. So what we do, instead of you having to manually check each of those, and trust me, a lot of compliance-aware customers out there are doing that manually. We do that automatically. So within minutes, you get a report like this that says, this, for example, I don't know if you can read this, but configure persistent logging for all ESXi hosts. You can obviously open that policy up, see what is it. Wrong one. See what is it about. Have a little read. If you want, you can even go to the security hardening link itself, and then see whether it's something you want to close, keep it, ignore. It's up to you, of course. How do you want to proceed? So that's the security component. In the same scan, so with the same connection with the vCenter in the same scan, again, which takes about 30 seconds for smaller environments and up to 2 minutes for our largest customers, which is about 1,500 hosts. So again, 2 minutes to scan the whole environment. So the third component is best practices. As I mentioned, we all love to follow best practices, but again, time and changes keep us away from that. Very similar. So every policy that VMware has ever released that is applicable to your environment, so we kind of disregard the ones that are not applicable for your environment, whether it's version or some specific things, are shown here. Again, you have them passed or failed. So this is, on the left side, you can see that this is pretty much under the configuration analysis tab. So these are all based on the configuration that we pull out from the vCenter itself. Now, the log analysis, which is the bottom part here, is what we get from the logs. So these are the issues that we said that they're active right now. If there are some, they're manifesting themselves right now in your environment. And these are some of the examples. So, the user interface looks the same, obviously, as you would expect. But again, with the difference that these issues are currently exhibiting in your environment, and you should attend to them immediately. Again, the same concept. You can go to findings to see what's wrong with that. Now, the last feature that I want to go through before I open it up to questions is a verbose dashboard. So it's kind of an add-on for on top of log analysis, of course. So this is pretty much log analysis, and it displays trending over time. So the top bar here shows a number of logs through time. So we're monitoring. We don't monitor all the logs, by the way. I should make it clear. We monitor everything, but we keep only the logs that are applicable to a specific KB article. So if there are 10,000 logs that have nothing to do with the known issues, we just drop them. The only ones that we keep, of course, are the relevant KB articles, and these 5 or 6 classes. So fail to, SCSI command, unable to, NMP, error, and shell. So these are the classes that we always keep, right? Why we keep them is because the majority of the problems when something does go wrong, these are the classes that usually have something to do with that. So a lot of our customers, well, some of our customers saw a spike in, for example, fail to and SCSI command just before, a couple of minutes before their storage went down, right? So they had some time to say, okay, heads up to say, okay, do we initiate DR, what's happening, just to, something to give you, that crucial time. One other thing which some of our customers are using Runecast Analyzer for is root cause analysis. So let's say you have a kind of typical scenario Friday afternoon, something goes wrong. You start troubleshooting, you just can't wait to fix it. You fix it, make the change, and then of course you go home for the weekend. Come Monday, someone's going to ask you, okay, what happened on Friday and how do we prevent it, right? At least I was asked that all the time. So how do we prevent it? So this Runecast Analyzer allows you to go back in time, back in on Friday, and say, okay, list all the shell commands that were run into that host at that particular time. And then you can see whether some of the commands that were run into might have caused a change, or some of the logs might have had some implication or something to do with the issue.
Where applicable, is it capturing the user associated with that?
Yes, so it does, yeah, it does. So that's pretty much the and of course the bottom part you can see the log log entries as they come, and you can expand to see not just the plain text dump, but some more useful information as to host name, timestamp, etc.
You mentioned VMI port. Is it only talk to the VMIs, or can it talk to the legacy vCenters with external SQL databases?
I think it's only VMI. It's a good question. I think it's only VMI. I think we only require one port to the vCenter, and with only read-only privileges, by the way.
So it has to be vCenter appliance.
Yes, yeah, it has to be. We don't connect to for that thing. We need to have a vCenter database. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, read only for vCenter. I mean, access-wise, so again, if you have a secure environment, you don't want anything to be changed without your permission. We don't have any permission to do that anyway. But read-only access, we just scan the environment to tell you what's wrong. For the log analysis, we do require some additional privileges, but again, these are all documented, so you can assess how. It's usually pretty much like log insight would require. That's a good question. Yeah. I think that pretty much covers the demo. How about any other questions? Do you have any?
General licensing model, is it by vSphere? Is it by
CPU socket.
By
CPU socket, subscription based CPU socket, yeah.
Do you have like a trial download?
Yes. Let me just go back to the presentation. I'll tell you. So you can check out the website, so runecast.biz//register, or you can come to visit our booth. We're giving away. This is a 14-day limited trial. So when you deploy this, you get about 30% of the issues. You can see 30% of the issues. The other 70% obviously are hidden. So you need to have a full trial license, which we're giving away at our booth today. As a thank you for joining and thank you for coming. And again, if you want, even down the line, if you're interested and want to see, get in touch with us, and we'll provide you kind of a fully working license so you can explore that.
Is this a European company or American, or what is it?
It's a European. Most of the development is done in Czech Republic, in Europe, and I myself is in Australia. Personal reasons, but yeah, so we're kind of across the globe. We have obviously a strong presence in the US. Most of the sales guys are here, pre-sales as well, so yeah. And just again, we're talking about companies, so 3 years in the market, 2 years since we released the product, so this is kind of a 1.6 now, 1.6.2 version. And in terms of company, we had this is second round of investment that we received late last year, so we're expanding obviously very, very aggressively.
How large is your company? How many employees and how many?
So from some from 15 mid last year to about almost 40 now. So yeah, we're very significant.
What's next for Runecast? What are you guys working on? What's the next sexy thing in
Yeah.
minds?
Next sexy thing, okay. I have to remember that. It's mainly, by the end of the year, we want to release support for vSAN and NSX. So everyone is talking about that, everyone wants that. So obviously, that's, if the customers are asking for that, obviously we'll deliver. And then early next year, more security policies. So as I mentioned, HIPAA, PCI DSS. And then of course, down the line, looking into some other technologies, etc. But that's kind of a midterm roadmap. Okay. Just show of hands, how many would you like to try? Trial and play around? Cool. Okay, very good, very good. As I mentioned, thank you very much for coming. I'll be at the booth over there, so let me know if you have any questions or follow-ups. I'll be very happy to chat. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.